Morning, everybody. It is 8:27 a.m. It is April 13th. Um, Sorry I couldn't make a video yesterday. However, I'm here today. Crazy day yesterday. Super volatile. Whipped back and forth. Had a lot of news. Had a lot of Fed speak. And pretty crazy, right? Um, as usual, let's just do a quick introduction here. My name is Steven Gonzalez. This channel, I use read the market with volume and market profile, of course, with other things as well, key levels, supply and demand, and try to make a trade plan with them. And then, you know, working off that structure in the market, we come up with trade ideas and scenarios that possibly could happen in the market. I'm doing this almost 5 years, um, so have a really good feel for volume profile, especially market profile, and how to come up with trade plans. Of course, um, you can follow me on Twitter. That's my handle is Gonzo719. So please give me a follow there. Trying to build the channel. Okay, so please subscribe, set some alerts. That would be great. And let's get into this. Let's get into the watch list. Okay, just give me one sec here. Boop. There we go. Let's see what we have going here. Now we have huge, well, not as big as maybe CPI, but we have jobless claims and PPI coming. So in about a minute, um, we should go to that news. All right. And actually, before we get into the watch list, I might as well let's just go into that news. We'll come right back to the watch list because obviously this could be a little bit of a market mover. So we'll get back into that watch list. So let's just look at, we got some market news coming here. And now specifically, when we're looking at it, the core PPI month over month previously was 0. They're actually expecting it to tick up to 0.3. Okay, that's core PPI. And then PPI month over month, it was negative zero point 0.1. Now they're expecting it to tick up to 0.1. So they're actually expecting it to rise. So we have to see when this drops here. All right, so it just dropped. And whoa, very interesting. It beat, so this should be bullish in the markets. This should be bullish. Jobless claims went up more than expected. And the PPI month over month actually was under what the forecast was. And the core PPI was also way under what the forecast was. So that's going to be bullish. And let's look at the market. Let's go with the hourly chart here. I'll zoom it in for you guys just to see that this should be bullish, and which it is right now. Right around a key level 4130 right now. That level is very key. We'll be talking about that in a little bit. So this market is very hard to read at this current moment. The headline risk is so volatile. Every day something can change in a moment's notice. Like, you don't get a ton of follow through. It's really hard market. For example, I'm used to like playing a lot of options plays week to week, within the week, maybe for the next week, and it's like almost like I haven't done that because this market can change on a dime. It's really, hey, what's up there, Wayne? Um, it really is tough. Really is tough to really get any kind of swing kind of play on because it's just tough. I mean, I had a trade, two trades yesterday. Goldman Sachs long, which was in the money. I trade stocks, so it was giving me a nice excursion, and then all of a sudden, market fell apart, and then later on, the market was coming back. I went long, and Apple was holding a key level, and 1 minute later, Fed Barkin said that there's more work to do, and that was crushed. My stop was ran, and I'm like, unbelievable. I mean, unbelievable. So this could turn out to getting a nice bullish push. But you see this level, right? The 4130. That's it's a monster level. It's a big pivot level. So the key is you want to see if this can take this level and hold it, right? So I might as well talk about really quickly on this chart because we're obviously going to go into the daily charts and stuff like that. I just wanted to see if this move had some legs here. I'll briefly talk about this, might as well since we're on here, right? So what I did is I put a Fibonacci from the CPI print all the way down to the low. Okay, and it's the 50% Fibonacci is 4144, which is right here. I usually have it at the red dotted line. Okay, you can see we broke this trend line yesterday, and you can see it hit the backside of that trend line right now. Okay, so there's a big supply zone here. And what else is there? The most traded price of yesterday. So that would definitely be a place to see if the buyers have strength to hold this 50% Fibonacci. But if you come in here and you start to get selling, could be the next move to go here and then here. I'm not saying if, we might not take this level because this level's huge. Just pointing something out, okay? And just that we're here, we have to also look at the NASDAQ, right? And then the NASDAQ had that trend line I showed everybody the other day was even more strong of a trend line. You can see here, started here, hit it off here, support here, and finally that was broken yesterday. That was broken clearly and closed way below it. So you could even see this first, when the CPI came out, it came down to this trend line almost and popped up, and then it came down again, tried to close, and then the market still moved higher, but then finally was broken. And finally we closed down here, right? So I put a Fibonacci also up here. Now the short in the NASDAQ is a prettier short, okay? It's more technically sound because this big level here, now you have a huge level here around 13, 130.80. This area here, the NASDAQ, it needs to reclaim that, or I'm bearish. Okay, that's the tipping point. That's the pivot point. However, what's in this area also, the 50% retracement of this move, there's a big supply zone here. Okay, most traded price of the week and the month and yesterday, all right here. It's all together here. So this is going to be tough to go through. All right, so this is my line in the sand for the NASDAQ right now. Okay, you can see we whipped up here. We have a nice upper wick now. And all we've managed to do in the NASDAQ, well, before it was only the 23.36 retracement. It almost went to the 38.2, but it didn't. Okay. So this is just things to look at in the candlestick chart that I always look at. Okay. Now, let's go into the watch. Let's just see, because there's a lot of news. with stocks and stuff like that. A lot of news we can catch up on. But let's go to the watch list. Let's go back to that watch list. All right, let's look at what we have going on here, okay? Ether is up 5.33%. Now I mentioned the other day like 33 billion tokens or something like was going to be made available in Ether. That's probably has to do with that pop. Okay. I don't know why that's not giving me the arrow. Okay. Let's see what else. Bitcoin's up 1.55%. Silver starting to make the move, up 1%. Gold's up 0.93 at 2043. It's holding above 2 grand. Nasdaq's up 0.40. The Russell up 0.38. ES up 0.25. 30-year bonds getting bought up 0.17. The Dow's pretty much flat, up 0.14. Now the Dow has that key level we'll talk about, that it broke, went above it, and then couldn't break below it, but it held it. So it's a very important level in the Dow. TNX is basically flat at 3.41. The dollar is slightly down. It's at 101.23. It's down 0.26. Crude is down 0.48%. It did get news that China's demand has gone up. So, and further cuts are going to hurt supply. So, I mean, that should be bullish. I mean, a lot of people are talking about $90, $100 a barrel in the future. The VIX is down 2.2%, down to 18.67. Okay, let's move over to the top stocks I like to watch. Give me 1 second here, guys. There's a window here that I need to have up. Apologize. Give me 1 second. Okay, let's talk about Netflix. Netflix is the leader right now, up 2.18%. Okay, followed by Coin, up 1.5 with the Ether and Bitcoin strength. Okay, followed by Baba. Now Baba originally was gapping down. Why? SoftBank, okay, was a huge investor in that company. Hold it like 35% of the stake in the company, is looking to sell their shares. Okay, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Tesla is up 0.65, but that I wouldn't call that the leader. We're going to talk about the big boys. We talked about a Netflix, Coin, and Baba. All right, let's go down to the bottom. Is there a laggard to speak of? Not really. Okay, not really. So let's move over to top sector stocks. Okay, and let me get rid of this real quick so we can see what we're doing. Now, who's our leader here? It's not much of a leader, but it's Disney. Okay, I wouldn't call that much of a leader. Now, however, our laggards, we got AbbVie is the laggard. Exxon has gotten a downgrade, so they're down 0.46. And conversely, Chevron was up earlier, and Chevron got an upgrade. So very, very interesting. Costco got an outperform rating. Okay. And actually, Apple and Meta got upgrades. So pretty Meta and Apple got upgrades. I think Apple was a price target of 180, and I think Meta was like a price target. I'll tell you guys that in a second. Hold on. Meta was a price target of 250. So still getting love from the tech, right? And finally, let's look at the sectors. Okay. We got communications. Obviously, it's no surprise. You got Netflix there, okay, and Disney, followed by technology. All right. And the laggard, there really isn't a laggard in the sectors, okay? Not a laggard to really speak of. Let's go over to the news. Okay. Let's talk about some news. All right, here's what I was talking about earlier. Alibaba shares plunge on SoftBank stake sales report. Okay. Delta Air offers bullish outlook on international travel demand. Um, let's see what else here. That was Delta Airlines. The company forecasts higher than expected profit for the second quarter. So Delta Airlines is up pre-market. I talked about the Alibaba, Chevron. Just going over here what I saw that was anything of note. So here's the Apple upgrade right here. Raise target price to 180. Right? And then here's Meta. Piper Sandler raises target price to 250 from 215, raising the company's full year revenue estimate by 1%, EPS estimate by 5%. Okay. So that's kind of the news. Now news from yesterday. Okay, news from yesterday, basically what happened in the market. I'm sure everybody's aware, but if you're not aware, let's talk about it. And I'm gonna bring you guys up to the daily charts. Just give me a sec, and we'll look at the daily charts, right? And just discuss what happened yesterday, right? So the CPI came out, market liked it. Okay, the market liked it. And then there was a bunch of Fed speak all day. Felt like you were in a battle with the market. I mean, the market was super hard to read. Fed speak, and then you had FOMC minutes. And the FOMC minutes, Fed officials, not the Fed, not the head Fed like Powell and these other guys, like Fed officials, they're not voting members, talked about a recession, a mild recession. And they actually were saying that they wanted a pause, not a rate hike, but they did rate hikes anyway. Market didn't like that. Okay, so hence why we fell. All right, and we came down to critical levels in the Nasdaq. Critical levels in the Nasdaq. Okay, so let's get to the charts. All right, let's look at the SPY. Good old SPY opened here, closed right at the 9 EMA daily. Okay, you had a bearish engulfing candle right here that engulfed the prior session. Okay, normally that's bearish. Okay, didn't quite go to these lows, right? So the ES was stronger than the Nasdaq. Nasdaq had a bunch of weakness. Okay, Apple broke a key level, so you know what happens when Apple does that. Okay, so that's the SPY. So let's look at the Qs. So the Qs, look at these highs and look at this range in the Qs. I mean, you got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, basically all the same highs, right? Around 317, around 318, I would call it. I'd round it off, right? And what happened? They broke these lows. You got a low here, you got a low here, and a low here, right? Broke it. Closed pretty much at the lows, closed at the 20-day simple moving average. All right. So I was looking at stocks here, and when I saw we were close to these lows, which are also um, weekly lows, last week's lows, I was like very cautious of shorting. I don't want to short in the hole, so I just like watched, didn't do anything, and wanted to see what the market would really do. Because we break this, you're looking at 306. However, just like I thought, like it was, they ran out of steam. Probably people took profit, and that's it. The sellers couldn't push any lower, you know. All right, let's look at that Dow, because the Dow has that key level At 336. 336 is just a monster level. I keep talking about it because it's very, very, very important. So 336, right? So we were under this resistance. I mean, look at this range. Support, support, huge range support. Then resistance, right? Then we come back up to it. The next day we pop above it, right? And then yesterday we opened here, pretty much gapping up, closed, and went all the way back down to this level and closed near this low. So this level's holding. Now currently pre-market Dow's at 337.23, so it's about like right here. Good morning, Rosita from Cali. Welcome. So that's the Dow. This is very, very, very important. Now remember, the largest holding in the Dow is United Healthcare, which has been on a tear as of late. It's the largest holding. All right. So, and Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, financials got a little bit of, they've been a little stronger. Okay, so that's going to propel the Dow. Really have to see. I really want to see what this level we're going to do. This level. Now, if the market's strong today and we pull back to this level, that could be a level to get long in the Dow. So I'm going to put a reminder here, get an alert here, because that would be, if the market kind of holds up, this could be a launch point. Looking to target 343. If not a day trade, I might even look into an options trade, maybe a butterfly, maybe whatever, call ratio, whatever. I have to see the volatility. What's the volatility at? The volatility is fairly low, so you could go with like a call vertical, bull call vertical, something, a bull call spread. So anyway, let's look at the Russell. All right, so the Russell was showing a lot of strength, right? Then this had a bearish engulfing candle. So opened here, closed down here, 9 a.m. mid-daily. Engulfed this prior day. That's pretty bearish, okay? Currently, we're at 176.81, right above this key level, right above here. So this market's just nuts right now. Those are the indexes, okay? We got to go to the triple-headed monster, right? Triple-headed monster coming your way. Now let's look at the bond market, right? Holding this 3.4. It's just holding around here. Bonds are not telling us much right now. That's the smart money, okay? So that's not really telling us much. But however, the VIX is. Look at this support. Jeez. We can't break it, right? We cannot break this support. These 18s, 1823, these 18s have not been broken yet, which means if we break, the market should move higher, okay? If we go above 20, let's put an alert here. I'll put an alert here. Just want to be cognizant of these levels, okay? This is really right here in the VIX. Break 18 and hold it, market should move higher. Break 20 and hold it, start moving up, market should go lower. Pretty basic stuff, okay? Dollar that's got that doji land, right? I mean, look at this friggin' doji land. I mean, this is like insane. Let me go back here. Let me just go to this doji world. That's pretty crazy. I mean, you can't even see them. That's how like much there's the indecision in this market. I mean, look at the doji land. My lord. And now it's breaking currently. Now, this is going to be good for gold and silver, the metals, commodities, right? The dollar has broken this key level right now. It's at 101.11. This 101.42 was support. It finally broke it. So this is, if you're a metal person, this is very good for your long in gold and silver, okay? Commodities as well, because oil is based in dollars. Whereas commodities, all commodities are based in dollars. All right. So that's dollars can make a move. You have a swing low here. That swing low is the low 100.82. So that's something we have to pay attention to. All right. All right. So that's the triple-headed monster that I like to talk about. Very important. Very, very important. Now we're going to move over to my favorite, the market profile and volume profile. And really, let's see what kind of plan we're going to have today. You know, let's see the plan for today. And we already know what our monster level is, right? And we're right there right now. 4130. I was talking about it earlier. 4130 is the monster level, is the pivot level, is the bull bear line. Okay? So let's just put this up there. Futures market and buying profile. All right? My baby. All right, so my baby is also the most traded prices. Rosita loves those. So 4130, that's where the market is right now. Right there. Here's that area. Got the most traded price of the month and the most traded price of the week right here. What's in the middle of these two? 4130. So the area is anywhere from 4137 to 4128. This area right here is everything. Everything. Okay? Now, whenever you have these levels, most traded price of the week and the most traded price of the month, together, expect a breakout. I don't know when. Nobody does. But whenever you have these levels together, it means that 4130 has been the most traded price of the last 30 days and the last week. Contracts, the most contracts have been traded there. Okay? So people have initiated positions in here the most over the last month and the last week, right? So if you pull away, who's going to get hurt there? Well, the shorts. If we pull this way, who's going to get hurt here? Well, the longs. And it's a very powerful thing to look at when they match up together. Now, who's watching my channel for a while, like somebody like Rosita, she's seen this multiple times. I always say it, when they line up, you get a breakout. Okay, so that's very important. That's why this level's huge. It's all I care about. Okay, and you can make a simple plan off it now. Okay, now there's two things with this. Okay, I want to be very clear about this. We got our PPI, we got our jobless claims data. Okay, that is a bullish data right now for the market. Okay, however, it's as easy as this. Okay, so we're going to talk about, let's talk about just yesterday. Okay, we got our high here, low here. Where are we now? Here's the midpoint, 50% retracement of yesterday. We're right there, by there, which just happens to be this monster level, right? Okay, we got our overnight low and our overnight high right here. In the middle of yesterday's session at the 4130 level doesn't tell me nothing. It doesn't tell me anything. It just tells me indecision. It tells me the market is waiting. It's in balance. Okay? You have to take what the market's giving you, right? The market is telling me, look at this profile on the side, right? Where is the distribution? Right here. In here is where all the volume is being traded. Okay? This doesn't tell you anything. All right, so either you can see the range here. Okay, here's a rough range here. It's like really from like up here and down here. That's where we've been trading. Okay, so yes, I said this is imbalance, correct? Now, two things happen when you're in this balance. We're going to continue to be in a range and hit the lows, go up to the highs, come back, balance a little bit, go back. That's range bound. That's a range bound market. That's what we're in right now. Okay? Eventually, we're going to break down or up. And this is how we plan accordingly. Okay? If the market's super strong, you know, then you're going to go long and you're going to look for a breakout. If this market is like, you got sectors fighting each other, probably fade the edges. It's called like a reversion to the mean trade. Okay? So let's go to our trade plan, okay? What's our trade plan going to be in the ES? Let's talk about it. Okay? Now, I'm going to give you the scenarios I just laid out for you. Okay? So, what I want to see is I don't want to really initiate trades here because that's just, you're going to get chopped up. All right? You don't want to be in this area. That's just too trafficy, too many, the most traded price of the month and the week. You don't really want to initiate trades there. Okay? This is usually like a target. Okay, so what I want to see is something like this. So first trade I'll talk about is if we come down here. Now this will be more of a range bound trade. Okay, if we come back to this, if we come down to this demand zone, okay, and we can't find sellers, and we kind of hold, start making, higher lows, then you got the range bound trade and you want to target 4130. Reversion to the mean. Okay, you fade the edges. Your first target would be here. You could hold a runner and possibly see if you can make it to the other end of the range. Right? So that's one long. Okay. Now the other long, what I would like to see is if the market was able to go above 4130, which is bullish. You want to hold above that area, right? What I would love to see is to come out, take out the supply zone that's here, take it out, hold it, come back, make some higher lows. Now we're establishing acceptance above that level. And if the market is strong, okay, this is where the market of the day, from the open, if sectors are strong, every sector strong, then you got a good chance that we're going to break out. Okay, and then that's why these levels will enforce the breakout. Now there's a supply zone over here. So, and a naked VPOC, virgin VPOC. I talked about that the other day for everybody, what that was. It's just the most traded price of the past that has not been touched. What level is that? 4166. The supply zone starts around 4167, so that could be your first profit take. That's the beginning of the supply zone. All right, so that's our long, okay? That's our long. Let's talk about the short, and it's going to be the same. That's why I love these levels now, because the short and the long are basically the same concept. Okay, so in the short, if we're going to go for range bound, right? Well, what are you going to see? I want to see this come up and either get weak and up in here in the supply zone. Okay, now I'll give you the one. If it does reach this supply and the market is mixed, right? It's not all strong. It's mixed. You want to see some lower highs, and then you can short. Where are you going to go? Most likely developing point of control of the day, which I don't know what that be yet. But you could definitely target back to 4130. Okay? Again, that's if we go up here. We might not. We might just stop in this supply. Same thing. Market's mixed. You're going to go right back to the mean. You're going to target 4130. Okay? Just like in the long play, well, what if the market comes down here and holds below the 4130 level? Right? Start making some lower highs, you're holding. You notice the market is overall getting weak. You're holding it. you're going to come down into this area. You might want to take some profit in this demand zone, but if we keep holding low, you're going to want to, you could get the breakdown lower into this demand zone. Okay, the start of that demand zone is 40.86. The naked VPOC is 40.80. Okay, so I just gave you a map of a breakout and a range bound trade. I hope that makes sense to everybody, because the 40-30 level is our friend. It's going to tell us everything today. Now, it makes it harder when the markets are mixed, if the Nasdaq's stronger or weaker versus the ES being stronger or weaker, right? It's easier when they're both in agreement. That hasn't always been the case lately. So, let's look at the Nasdaq. Okay, here's our Nasdaq. All right, so now remember, earlier I was talking about the Nasdaq on a candlestick chart. Okay, and I said it has the prettier short, because the key level is 130.80. In the Nasdaq, that's the most traded price of yesterday, it's the most traded price of the week, and it's the most traded price of the month. Monster level. Okay, so we both got monster levels. So right here is all I care about in the Nasdaq. Right now, the beauty of the Nasdaq is this level lines up with the midpoint, which is the 50% retracement, the 50% Fibonacci of yesterday's move. And you have these levels here, right? And a supply zone. And the 9 EMA daily. There's a lot of confluence here. So this is going to be very hard for the Nasdaq to cut through. Okay? But the same scenario. Okay? You can see these lows, this range in the Nasdaq was broken yesterday, but didn't get the follow through down. Okay? And the Nasdaq's in a prettier range. It's really got a range. Okay, hence why you see these most traded prices right in the middle of that range. No surprise. Look at the beautiful profile. It's beautiful. That just shows you the balance, right? That's the beauty of profile, right? If I didn't even have the most traded price in the week and plot that, right? And I just looked at this profile, well, that would already tell me we're in perfect balance. So you already know right here, perfect balance. But I got the confluence of everything here, right? And you just look at everything like that. So let's get into the trade plan here. And the short, I'm a bias to the short. You'll see why. But we're going to talk about that first. So let's talk about it. So right now, where are we at? We're at 130.27. We're below this level. Let's get rid of all that. We're right here. We're within yesterday's range. We're below the midpoint of yesterday, which is the 50% Fibonacci. We're below the monster level. Okay, we're within yesterday's range. Kind of got a balanced market here. We kind of came down here, have a demand zone. Okay, but again, below this level. So the first thing would be nice to see, and if you were looking for a short, would be if the market moved up into this area, 9 EMA daily, like I said, these monster levels here, supply zone, monthly VWAP here. If we did one of these, right, and we came violently through here, you have to short there. Okay, so what's going to happen is everybody who's long from down here and who got long from here is going to have to cover, going to have to liquidate their positions, and you'd want to basically target yesterday's lows and this demand zone. Okay, that's of a violent cut through back. You want to short that. Now, reversion to the mean, short is come up here, hold it, move up to the top of the range, and again, market being mixed, go into this supply, hit the negative epoch, and let's say we just start going back to the mean, you target here. Target the monster level, reversion to the mean. Okay, down here, we break the low, you come down to this gap. This is an old gap that has not been filled. That is 128.55. Okay, so let's talk about the long. Long has to really prove it to me. Okay, in the Nasdaq, it really has to prove to me with this level. Okay, now if we did sell off, come into this demand, and we can't break the lows, excuse me, even if we broke it and whipped back up, higher low, well, now you have a chance to now, everybody's short. You have to understand, everybody's short from here. It's the most traded price of yesterday. Everybody's short from here. Okay, now, overnight, they were short into here, and they got a little bit. Everybody who had equities yesterday, short. Okay, so this play would be a reversion to the mean trade. You go long, you target right here, you target this area, right, the 130.80. Okay, now if we open, and let's just say from this move, or we open and come up here, I have to see this supply zone taken out, and then we hold above this level, right? You got monthly VWAP here, but if you hold and the market starts firming up, especially the Nasdaq, remember the Nasdaq's only 100 stocks, tech starts firming up, you start getting some strength, higher lows, you want to go long, you want to target yesterday's highs. Okay, and then you're going to go target here, this naked VPOC and this supply zone, and that's the top of the range. So you take one off the top of the range, 132.31, and then you ultimately would, like, if we get the breakout, you target up here. There's the demand zone up here. Where's that? That's around 133.25. Okay. So that's the trade plan. And if whoever's stuck with me, I'm as long-winded today. I wanted to give, hopefully I gave a lot of good information today. And we got our plan. It's a very concrete plan. I'm very excited because it's very easy today. I don't know if the market will open easy, but the plan's easy. Okay. So that is going to be it for me. Again, trying to build the channel. Please subscribe, set an alert, notification. Okay. Of course, give me a like. Right? You could always use a like. Those help me out. Follow me on Twitter, Gonzo719. Hey, Kobe. So we have our plan. All right, we have our plan, and we got our plan. Hopefully, we can implement the plan. Right? Stay patient. Let's stay green. Let's make some money. Hopefully, everybody has a great trading day. Hopefully, everybody has a good day. I'm in Jersey, and the weather's been beautiful, so it's really nice to see the sun out, and it's warm. So wherever you're at, hopefully the weather's the same. And I will update later with either a trade or a market update if I see something that's significant. Okay, I've been doing a lot of shorts. Hopefully you guys been freezing in Cali. That is hilarious. So that's about it for me. So wish everybody good luck today. Have a good day. And if I don't update, I will see everybody tomorrow.